About a year ago, I almost missed the biggest money-making trend for solopreneurs. See, I thought it was just what you want to call it, a buzzword flying around the internet, throughout all the social media, throughout the entire world. Right? But what's crazy, and the crazy part to it, is this. You see, the people who took and mastered that one skill quietly pulled ahead of the rest of us. See, they built a six-figure business, scaled their personal brands, and secured opportunities that most of us didn't even know existed. Now, it's not AI, it's not coding, hell, it's not even investing. You see, the skill that'll make you the most money in 2025 is this: strategic communication. And guess what? Today, your boy here, I'm going to break down exactly why and how you can start mastering this strategic communication framework before everyone else catches on. I'm Anthony Porter, ex-construction guy turned CEO of a thriving podcast and coaching business. Fast forward past my many failed attempts and lessons learned, and you will see the business that I have today. One that changes lives, gives me more freedom than I ever thought could be possible. One that I used to only sit at the job site and only daydream about. I created the Solopreneur Chronicles Podcast to give solopreneurs a simple yet actionable step-by-step strategic plan to help them do the same. If you're an ambitious entrepreneur, a solopreneur, or one of the above mentioned in the making who's looking to create a business that makes an impact in a life that you love, you're in the right place, my friend. So let's buckle up and let's get right into it. Hey, yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Solopreneur Chronicles Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Anthony Porter. Today, we're going to talk about this game changer, man. We got to get into it. There's nothing more appealing than to have a system in place that could help you thrive and be the best that you could be. But when it comes to making money, you got to have something in place that is more feasible than what everybody else is doing. It's more of having a strategic approach and not following the trends. See, everybody else out here is following these trends, but you got to be smart. So we're going to talk about strategic communication. And what's crazy about that is it's the basic way to pay your bills. So this skill will pay your bills, and it's called strategic communication, right? So we're going to get into why this possibly is. It's not why. This is the top skill set right now. And I'm going to break it down to you, man. I'm going to give it to you the best way that I can. See, the skill that pays the bills is that's what we talked about. Is called strategic communication, right? See, we're not just selling products anymore. If you've been following me for a minute or you've heard me talk about things, we're selling stories now. Attention is the new currency. The better you tell a story in your DMs, in your emails, in your podcast, the more you're going to sell. So one of the biggest influencers in the world who can attest to this is Mr. Beast. See, he doesn't sell adventures. See, he doesn't sell videos. He sells adventures. Same with Apple. They sell identity through a story. Think about this. Apple is a gazillion times gazillion. All right. And I don't even know if that's a word, but it's out there. Apple has the iPhones. Apple has the tablets. Apple has mostly everything in my realm is made through Apple. So you have to understand the identity of Apple is it's a great product. It has more capabilities than some Android contraptions. And at the same time, it's a lot less likely that you will catch a virus when you have an Apple product. The story is just that. They sell you on the fact that you could possibly not have to worry about always having to, when you log on, it's funny because they do this a lot. When you log on, you don't really have to worry about going into the start system and updating the computer and hopefully that the files are. Apple has the automatic updates. Apple is an identity known for, remember when you had the iPod and the iPod Nano and all of these different products. Remember when iPhones came out, remember they used to be small and they grew and then you get, like I walk around with a 16 Pro Max and I kid you not, I don't want nothing different. I used to be a Galaxy guy. But when I got my hands on the ISO product, simpler for me to use. I understand the tech better. And I'm not saying everybody should think about the tech, but this is just something that I love to use. I'm not selling Apple products. What I'm saying is if you was ever to be invited to my house, it's more Apple products in my house than anything. There's 4 or 5 different MacBook. Well, there's a MacBook, there's iMacs, there's Mac Minis, there's cell phones, tablets, you name it, they're here. So you got to think. You have to think that Apple sells through stories. All right. Mr. B sells through adventures. He's not selling videos. He's selling adventures. So basically what you have to do is you got to think about this. I'm going to give you this mini tip real quick. So when you practice the 3-act story structure, do it for a week. So you have a problem, you struggle, then you hit victory. What is your problem? How do you struggle to reach to the next plateau? So the problem takes you to a struggle. So you're struggling 24/7 with going back and forth with your content, going back and forth with how you're going to get more eyes on your business. And then the victory lap comes when you start seeing your lead generations and everything, your episodes and downloads and all of this. And you have to understand it's 3-act story steps. Problem, struggle, victory. So just practice that. Now, before we go any further, let me tell you this. This particular segment is brought to you by Snapcracker Gourmet Popcorn, your newest online e-com popcorn shop with over 15 to 20 different flavors, freshly cooked, small batched every single day, non-GMO, none of them added preservatives that make you, sick or anything like that. Snapcracker Gourmet is the latest thing in gourmet popcorn, and it's at a reasonable price. So stop making your evenings and your popcorn with family boring. Get you some of that gourmet popcorn. They got flavors like strawberry shortcake, cowboy, which is a barbecue, and cheddar. They got a bacon cheeseburger popcorn, and the Taste of the Shy, or the Taste of the Derby City, which is their signature blend of white cheddar infused with one of the bourbons from Kentucky and that caramel glaze mix. So check out, Snapcracker Gourmet Popcorn. It's snapcrackergourmet.com. Grab your bag, man. Tell them your boy Tony from over here at Solopreneur Chronicles sent you, all right? All right, so let's get into number 2. We got to talk about this because a strategic communication is a strategic plan, right? So the last portion we talked about the rise of persuasive storytelling. And again, we'll go back over this. So with the rise of persuasive storytelling, we are basically talking about, we're not selling just products, we are selling stories. We are basically coming to you and grabbing your attention with a story, whether it's in the DMs, whether it's in your emails, whether it's in your podcast. The better you can tell a story, the more you're going to sell, right? We talked about how Mr. Beast is not selling videos no more. He's selling adventure. And it's the same thing with Apple. It's the same with every major product out there. They're giving you a story. All right. And then they have a 3-act story that they help you. You got a problem. Think about it. You want a reliable cell phone? You struggle with all the other tech advantages of different cell phones? Go out and buy an Apple iPhone and watch how your life changes. You walking around. Now, if you're a musician, you walking around with a studio in your hand. If you are a content creator, you walking around with a mobile video production studio in your hand. If you are a writer, you are walking around with a mobile content creation in your hand. If you are a business owner, you're walking around with a mobile virtual assistant in your hand. And that's the story that Apple's sending to you, all right? Now, again, we're going to talk about number 2. Number 2 is if you can't sell, you can't survive. So recently I started to sit back and I've listened to a lot of people. I follow a lot of people. I'm interested to see what everybody else does in life, right? So I started following a lot of people, but I have been following people like Marquell Russell, Pat Flynn, Nehemiah Davis, Davis Shands, E.T. Eric Thomas. And I recently joined a community on a school community, because I wanted to launch my community, which there will be a description down below to help you prepare yourself to use podcasting to help scale your business, right? So I joined this community, this guy named Christian Crenshaw. I seen him a while ago on Instagram and YouTube, but I decided to join the community. I joined the free community, and then I joined the paid community. The difference between the two is this. You're getting the knowledge in both. But when you start to really decide that you're going to invest in yourself, the more people that you are around who are in the same boat that you're in, that knowledge comes full circle. Because what you have is you have people who have a different skill set than you do, but you can combine both of your business. So like they run an agency. He runs an agency outside. It's a sales agency. So what he's done is he's partnered with people that he's taught to build communities. They have other products. Like there's someone in her that teaches you how to fix your credit, right? And gain funding for your business. Let that sink in. You have people in here who are making K a month teaching people how to produce music and are not Grammy producers. What they figured out is you have niches out there that people need. You have people out there with a skill set. They don't just get the opportunity because they don't know the people. What you find out is it's not about who you know, it's what you know. And they go out, again, we're going off the story. So again, if you can't sell, you can't survive. Today's selling sessions is not about pressure. It's about connecting, understanding, and inviting. See, I know a cat, and I've met other people. I know this guy, and I've met some other people. They was making $5K a month. They closed with their coaching business. They was asking questions and not pitching. Years ago, let me say this because this sits heavy on my mind, and I have to say this. Years ago, I was really getting into the internet marketing aspect of life, and it was about, I'll tell you what it was about. It was about affiliate marketing. All right. So I read the reviews on the company that I was dealing with. I'm like, man, whatever. I don't think so. I think everything seems real. So I joined their 3-day challenge. I'll tell you what, that 3-day challenge was long as hell. But I got some value out of it. What I didn't like was, so the 3-day challenge was $47. Now what they got was a whole lot of extra in for them. That they made their 47, but they also made a little extra money on the back end. Again, we was talking affiliate marketing. Now back then I didn't understand how people was making all of this money if they only charging this amount to be in a challenge. What it was is, that don't even sound right. What it was that you paid the $47. Then they asked you to get response, but you click their link. Now, you got to think about this because this particular challenge itself, they ran it 3 times a month for 8 months. And I know for a fact that when I was on that challenge, there was 500 people. So they had rooms where you would break off. They call them breakout rooms. All right. So you was on a Zoom, you did these breakout rooms, you go in these rooms, and in these rooms was at least 40 to 50 people. Now you think about it, you got $500 people, roughly 500 at $47. And then on top of that, you're telling everyone in there, and this is how you make money, man. Their sales system at this point was outstanding. You had to get the affiliate to the email marketing autoresponder. Then you had to have a sales funnel in order to promote products. So think about this. You got 500 people paying $29. Now they're not getting that 29. What they're getting is a percentage of the 29 every month, as long as you stay with that particular link, or as long as you stay with those particular people. Now you're not paying them. The company's paying them. So you got to think. I think they was like 25%. So if they're paying $29, you got 500 people at 25%. You do the math. Now ClickFunnels is different. ClickFunnels was $97. They was paying 30%, 30 to 40%. 40% of $97. You got 500 people. Okay? No, I'm not bashing. What I'm saying is this. You have to understand. There's multiple streams of income. Those were just 3. 47, the 29, and then you had, $97. That was just the tip of the iceberg. What I didn't like was their sales call approach towards the end. See, I've listened to people like Christian on his video, how to be a closer or a setter. Not one time did I hear him ever pitching. I heard him asking questions to draw you to make you realize this might just be for you. But when I was I was all in. I thought I was doing a great service because I was understanding what they was asking and I was feeling good about the situation. But then they start pitching and they was like, well, here's what we can do. You got a credit card. You got, we can run application. We have lenders. We're thinking, y'all pitching hard as hell right now. I'm thinking, why? So the 3-day challenge with Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By Saturday night, I'm looking at all the reviews and I'm starting to see now what I missed. It stopped. When you have that whole team, you got to get that money. But what got me is it went from $47 to just straight 15 grand. We need 15 from you. Like, what happened to 97? What happened to the value ladder? Just straight out of the challenge, we want 15 racks. Like, yeah, called a couple times. I ain't heard from them since. Tried to go on the website the other day just to see. Guess what? It's gone. I said, boy, I tell you, these people funny as all outdoors. But again, the pitching part is what got me. You want to be a seller. Listen, you don't have to be salesy. What you have to be is you just got to ask the right questions to pinch that right situational nerve, and everything else can work out. Now, try asking 3 more questions than usual in a conversation that you have talking about your sales. So think about this. When you're talking to someone, you might ask them the name. You might ask them what they do. You might ask them, where they're from. Ask 3 more questions. Ask them something like, how much you make a year? Ask them something like, what are your goals in the next 90 days? And I'm just spitballing things. I don't think these are things that you want to ask a seller. Just, you want to get to the point where you're asking questions. And maybe when they answer these questions, you respond back, because when you're writing them down, you can determine whether they are fit for your business or not. At the end of the day, you have to be that person to say, okay, we want to work with you, or we'll send you down here. We're not a good fit, but we got some resources over here for you. And, hey, let's maybe in a month or 2, we'll see. We'll check back, all right? But at the end of the day, you have to understand, you are a person who is trying to build a wealth lifestyle, freedom, the whole shebang, right? But you cannot be salesy. That pushes people away, man. And I'm telling you, man, when they started pushing that button, we can you borrow from your parents? Can you borrow from your wife? Can you borrow from your kids? How am I going to borrow something from my kids, man? I'm on here, and I told, and see, that's another thing. They don't listen. I told you in the beginning, this is me talking to them, say to y'all. I told you in the beginning, I'm doing this to build generational wealth for my family. Why would you ask me, did I have it to borrow from my kids? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, man, that's just part of it, man. You just sell your products, sell your services without being salesy. And everything should work out fine for you. Now, we got to talk about number 3. Number 3, we're going to talk about content creation. See, your voice is your product. For you, your voice is your product. And you got to think about this. You are trying to get people to adjust to you in your podcast. Because see, what your podcast is doing is putting more eyes on your business. It's putting more eyes on the service that you offer. See, it's not about creating. It's not about you sitting around duplicating. Because see, if you're not creating, you're invincible. That's it. Full stop, man. I mean, if you're not creating, you're invisible. Nobody knows who you are if you're not creating. And I hate to hear people say this, like, you don't need to do this on Instagram. Yes, you do. You need to pick one platform. The 5 ones is in full effect. You got one problem to solve on one platform, one traffic source, one offer for 1 year. That's the pathway to $1 million. Now, are you going to reach $1 million? If you will, if you work hard. But if you don't work hard, you're not going to reach it. So nobody knows who you are. So you got to be able to put yourself out there for people to see exactly who the person is that they want to build this rapport with. See, content is the communication factor. When you post your podcast, your videos, that's your voice. That's your brand voice. When people sit there and say, you don't want to, how is it? I have a question. And I would love for people to put this, send me an email. I'll put the email that you send it to me to. I want to answer. I need you to answer. I need you to start engaging. How can you tell someone that you don't need to post on social media like an Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or TikTok when that's where I found you at. Make that make sense, please. How does that work? So what you have to do is you have to understand your voice is your brand. Your brand is your voice. All right. But nobody knows that you have a podcast for your business if you are not posting and talking about the podcast for your business. You don't know that Ford has a brand new truck coming out if they're not talking about it, advertising it. One of the CEOs is at a party just discussing it. You don't know this. Why? They wasn't talking about it. Now, if you get to the point where they talking about it, guess what happens? You get interested. Once you get interested, yeah. Now you see where I'm going. If you're not talking about your business, nobody knows that you had that business. If you're not talking about your brand, nobody knows that you have that particular brand. Nobody knows. So what I need you to do is mini action tip. I need you to do this, man. We got to commit to publishing one piece of content daily. The one thing I talked about in my last episode is if it's messy, post it. See, we get hung up on trying to be perfectionists before we post the content. No. Give a damn if it's messy or not. Get it out there. People need to see who you are. Now, you have to think about this. And again, you have to think about this. Number 4, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. And that's reading people. When you start reading people, that equals revenue. If you want to sell faster, coach better, and lead stronger, you have to master reading between the lines. I'm good at that. I think I was better at that before I even started because I can read body language to say they're not interested. But I can read body language to say, yeah. They want more. They want to know what's going on. See, when you have people who approach you and tell you that they watching your podcast and there's nothing to do with anything that you're doing. When you have people that come to you and they tell you this, you read between the lines. For me, it's when I have somebody approach me and say, hey man, I seen your podcast. Once I engage with a conversation with them, I'm reading between the lines. They're wanting to learn how to scale a business that they already have. And they're looking for information, and I'm the person to give it to them. They feel like I'm the authority figure. So once we start talking, we start engaging, we start sitting back, we start going through the ripple effects of everything that we need to go through. Guess what happens? They're sold. And then they turn around and they come back a few days later and be like, hey man, can we chop it up? Man, I'll pay you. Sure. Pay me what you think I'm worth. See, that's how I got into my first coaching opportunity. I told the guy, I said, hey, just pay me what you think I'm worth. He said, okay. What we did was we sat down, we mapped out a game plan. I said, listen, we'll meet, because we was in the city. I said, we'll meet once every other week for the next 90 days. But I will also send you some information to help you get to a certain point that you can have. And then when we meet, these be like the Q&A sessions and things like that. I made my first $1,500 that way. Believe it or not, it was actually more. But what happens is, after we had this conversation, it wasn't that I felt bad. I was just helping. I knew it. He was giving me money he didn't have because he was trying to make a better life for his peoples, his family, his loved ones, his kids. Me being me, I ain't gonna let you go out like that. Here, give me this 15. You take his 2 back, handle your business. That was 2020. COVID was just about to hit. Fast forward 2025, super great now. We break bread every single chance we get. He sits back and he tells me, hey man, I appreciate that. That was in our culture, he was like, it was a real G move. I read the room, I read the language. As he's handing me that money, I'm looking at him, and then I'm looking around the room, and I know he's here with his family, and I'm like, man, come on, bro. I got you. In my head, I'm like, I can't let him go out like that. That was just me. That wasn't, I didn't discuss anything with anyone about it. Actually, the money that he handed me, he must have did some research because I never set a price. He walked in, handed me $3,500. I looked at this, I was like, thanks. Yeah, coaching business in full effect now. I can't turn back now. But what I did was I'm looking at him as he's handing it over, and he's in his eyes, he's like, man, I hope this works. And then I look to my left and I'm looking at the kids and I'm like, wow, he just gave me $3,500. They sharing food over here. Not gonna happen on my watch. Hey, bro, here, give me this 15. Take his 25. Take his 2. You take his 2 back. Give me the 15. We good. He said, man, take the 2. We good. So with that particular segment being said, listen to me. I need you to do this. I need you to watch 3 body language videos on YouTube and practice reading the room. You'll be surprised, man, when you start picking up on things. You can tell how people maneuver, a lot of people. So when you heard it, listen to me. It's funny because this was never supposed to be part of it. You can tell, like the young people say, you can tell when your ops is about to make a move. They move different. People move funny. Read the room. You can tell when someone's uncomfortable. You can tell when somebody's feeling good. You can tell when somebody's about to get you. And that's one thing we don't want to do. We don't want to see nobody get backdoor, man. We want to make sure that our business is legit. We want to cut the cost down of chargebacks. We want to cut the cost down of everything possible because guess what? You want to be successful. I'd rather give you more value and take less money because in the long run, you're going to become my next mouthpiece. Believe it or not. Now, number 5. Now, before we get into it, please don't forget, this segment again is brought to you by Snapcracker Gourmet Popcorn, snapcrackergourmet.com, your latest popcorn online e-commerce business, sweeping the precious bluegrass state of Kentucky. All right, told you, man, the taste of the Derby City, Derby coming up in a few weeks. With Derby coming up, just holler at them. Listen, popcorn is never sitting on a shelf. Hand-cooked, homemade, freshly cooked, small batches every day, ready to pop at order. That way it's never stale. It's properly ready. So when you pop open that bag and pop that in your mouth, everything is good to go. So check out snapcrackergourmet.com, order your bag. And again, quit making popcorn boring. Turn your boring popcorn evening into an extravagant, elegant appetizer for your movie. All right. Now, we're going to finish this out because I've held you longer today because this is something that sat with me and I wanted to get this to you so you could understand that this is very, 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 very important. Okay. Now, a lot of people are scared of this last portion. Number 5 is touchy, man. And number 5 is AI latency. So you got to be able to communicate with humans and you got to be able to communicate with machines. What you don't understand is a lot of times when you log on, you're talking to an AI bot. Now, it's not replacing the communication. It's replacing people who can adapt. You have to be able to adapt to the situation. Think about this. If you are able to build a bot to run your business while you and your family are vacationing in the Florida Keys or you overseas, you in Paris, France, or you somewhere off the Gulf of Mexico. It ain't the Gulf of no damn America. It's the Gulf of Mexico. You down there. You in Cancun. You in the Dominican Republic, you in Puerto Rico, your business can run by itself through AI. If you set it up properly, you could be trust me. Can you imagine your vacation? Can you imagine your wife walks into the Louis Vuitton store and tells you, hey, I know we said we wasn't going to spend too much money. And all of a sudden, you grab a hold of your pocket because you feeling the vibrations going nuts. And you just got $97 low ticket sales for a mastermind. And then turn around and you got an upgraded coaching program. And your coaching program starts at $5,000. And you got 6 of those. Baby, buy what you want to buy. See, that's the life that you could have. You're not running it. Your virtual assistant is AI and AI is running it. So it's not replacing people, the communication. It's replacing those who can't adapt. And that's what everybody's afraid of. If you figure it out, you're still in the game. But if you can't figure it out, you're going to get left behind. Now, if you can brief an AI tool better, you can create better. So a lot of people are afraid of it. So one of the things that I like to do is when I'm spitballing ideas, I'll jump on ChatGPT or I'll jump on Gemini or the newest one, which is DeepSeek. You can't just ask basic questions. Hey, can you write me a book? The hell? Yeah, they're going to write you a book. They ain't going to be what you want it to be about, but they're going to write that book for you. But if you give them specific instructions, dive deep, tell them what you want, give them some illustration ideas. See, the hardest part for real is thinking about what you want the book to be about, how you want that book to be presented, like your tone. Is it professional? Is it playful? Do you want to have illustrations? You want to have examples? You want to have flow charts? You want all of that? You got to think about all of that. Now, once you get to that point, guess what happens? AI becomes your best friend. My outlines for my podcast are scripted through AI. I spend about 15 minutes daily practicing to get better prompts to help the AI tools that I use be more specific and more accurate to the point. So that's what you got to do. You got to understand latency to the AI situation is here to stay. You just got to be able to adapt to it. Okay. Now let's get into these quick tip segments. All right. 5 ways to master your strategic communication faster. Record yourself explaining a concept and rewatch it. Get on camera, record it, watch it, tweak what you see. Because if you're not your worst critic, you're not creating content right. Number 2, tell a 30-second story daily on Instagram using Instagram stories. So you want to tell a story. Come up with something and just tell the story. You got 30 seconds. It could be about something that just happened at the mall. It could be about something that you done ate. It could be about something that you created. It could be anything. Tell the story. All right. Number 3, read your DMs out loud before sending them. Check your tone. Again, perception is everything. You have to be able to maneuver the way that you want to maneuver. Check your tone. Make sure everything is good to go. Check your spelling. Make sure everything is great. And then you can move forward. All right. Number 4, practice labeling emotions when talking to prospects. All right. What that is you have to be able to specifically like strike home, let them know that without being salesy, this is what I need you to do. And man, that's how when you're talking to them, you have to know how to speak that tone to make it like, all right, this is it right here. I kind of jump at them. No, I'm just playing. All right. Then last but not least, man, you want to spend at least 10 minutes a day improving your prompts with AI. If you think AI is not here, man, you might as well pack your bag and get up out of here. All right. Now, let's talk about something else. All right. I'll be honest. A few years ago, I nearly lost 10K coaching deal. Why? Why did I almost lose this 10K coaching deal? Because I wasn't focused. I was focused on the pinch, Lord Jesus. I was focused on the pitching instead of listening. All right. The client didn't want the program. They wanted to understand. They wanted an understanding, someone to mirror the dream. They just wanted to understand it. I had to pause, ask him one question. And when I asked that question, I rephrased his goals back to him, and he was ready to work with me. See, at first I wasn't listening. I was just I knew that 10K was sitting there. But what I didn't understand was I had to make sure I listened. See, communication is not talking more. It's about connecting deeper. Once I rephrased everything that he said and his goals back to him, it was over. That saved me. That saved my podcast. It saved my coaching business. And that's why I'm on the path to sharing with you all today, this particular episode, man, because I'm telling you, if you do it right, that's what happens. All right. Now, my friends, quick recap. Strategic communication is the number one money-making skill for 2025. Storytelling, sales, content, emotional intelligence, AI latency. Those are the top 5 superpowers that you need to think about and be ready to use. Small daily practices. Practice everything like storytelling practice. Record yourself, watch it, go back, practice writing your AI prompts. Watch the 3 videos and learn to read the room. All right. And then practice your sales, your content creation. If you ain't talking about your business, nobody's going to purchase anything from you in your business. Okay. Now, if this episode had any value that helps you move the needle forward, hey, man, do me a favor. Subscribe to the Solopreneur Chronicles on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All your streaming platforms, we are there. Leave a review. It helps us grow. I need you to leave a review. The website is back up, but I need you to leave a review. Then swing on by again to Solopreneur Chronicles Podcast.com for exclusive resources and free downloads. Okay. I'm going to add some free downloads over on the website. I just made a podcast launch, that checklist, that roadmap. Ooh, boy, that bad boy fire. Yeah, man, make sure you check that out. But again, leave us a review. Go over to Apple and Spotify. Leave us a review. And that's where we stand at, man. We're going to stand on business, all right? So thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. I'm going to catch y'all in the next episode, all right? Do me a favor. Stay bold. Stay consistent. And stay communicating like a boss. Not a peasant, but a boss. And I'm going to see y'all in the next episode, man. Peace.